Thank you, sir. We know you're very busy. We appreciate it very much.
Great view with you, Larry, as always.
So we just start off reaction. President Trump kind of unleashed a humdinger last night. That's the way I look at it. What were you thinking as you heard it unfold?
Well, he crushed it, Larry. You're absolutely right, both in tone and substance. Couldn't have dialed it up really any better. And I thought it was optimistic. It was hopeful. It was, reflecting on America's greatness and those who've come before us, having a couple of those 100-year-old veterans in the audience, and of course, having the hockey team, and congratulations to both the men and the women for their gold medals. But it was really the kind of message and speech that I think most people should find inspiring and aspirational and all that, except the Democrats in the chamber. So I thought what you also saw last night was kind of the two Americas. You saw the president's vision for the future of this country, and then you saw the open borders, sanctuary cities, defund law enforcement, raise your taxes, reduce American energy independence. Democrats sitting there on their hands at virtually every opportunity when they should have been up cheering. And it's unfortunate, but I think it is. It's two visions for America.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's interesting. There's a million polls out there, but my producers found this CNN poll, of all things. Before, he had a 54% right direction. Now, that's pretty good, 54%. I didn't know he has anything that high. But just before the speech, CNN clocked him at a 54% right direction. After the speech was finished, Senator Thune, he had a 64%. And I think on most of the policy, you just mentioned a couple of policies on the economy and DHS and border control and things of that sort, and ICE. I mean, Dems are on the wrong side of these issues, and I guess your goal right now as Majority Leader is to herd through some legislative solutions.
Right, it is, and it's to draw contrast. I mean, if the Democrats want to play ball, want to work with us, and they should, because the things we're talking about shouldn't be partisan issues. These are issues that are in the best interest of the American people, and Democrats ought to want to participate irrespective of who's in the White House. But the president's laid out a bold vision, and some of the things he talked about last night, on top of the things, as you know, that we got done in this last year through the first reconciliation bill, but, a housing bill, talking about something on additional energy development, permitting reform, AI. I think there's some real areas that we can be working on and working with the White House, and hopefully in a bipartisan way, like I said, to get some solutions for the American people. But those are all things that kind of strike at the heart of this question of affordability. I think the president has zeroed in on that. What we believe are the answers as we look to the future, obviously to the midterm elections and beyond, are safer streets, which the president has been dialed in and zeroed in on since he came to office and before. Obviously, more money in the American people's pockets. And we have done that. You're going to see more of that, I think, as the year wears on. And then obviously new opportunities to get ahead for working families. And there are so many areas in which the president has delivered on that, and there's more to do. But you look at, just as an example, the Trump newborn accounts, Larry, that is a wonderful idea for the future, and to get people saving for their kids. And I think that's something that is going to serve the American people and working families well into the future.
That one could be a game changer. You're 100% right. It's one of my favorite things. Absolutely. A total game changer, from poverty to wealth and prosperity. But, Senator, let me ask you, you've got this FEMA's not being funded, the Secret Service, the Coast Guard, this DHS bill is not getting done. The Northeast is suffering from pretty perilous snowstorms and ice storms and blizzards, for example. Democrats seem not to want to cooperate once again. What's going to happen here?
I hope that the Democrats will come to the table. The president and his team have been incredibly operating in good faith in terms of trying to get a solution here. And honestly, Larry, we have now had 2 votes in the Senate, 3 votes actually, on the very bill the Democrats negotiated on the Department of Homeland Security, on that appropriations bill, and then subsequently walked away from it and voted against it as recently as last night. And we'll give more opportunities to vote on that. But I think the White House has said, okay, if you don't want this, tell us what you want. And it took them a long time to come up with a list, and they came up with a list, which is mostly very unrealistic. But we're not going to do anything that jeopardizes or puts at risk law enforcement officials who are out doing their jobs. They have a right to be able to do their jobs, to do them in a safe way. And these sanctuary cities, which create these hostile environments where puts not only these, these law enforcement officials at risk, but also their families, that's just crazy. And so, there are certain things that we're going to be willing to do and certain things we're not going to be willing to do. And, obviously, the White House, I think, has been very forthcoming in trying to say, okay, let's, figure this out. If it's something to do with body cameras, it's something to do with, de-escalation training. There are a whole range of issues I think the White House has been willing to deal on, and the Democrats haven't been there because I think they see this as a political issue. And it's really unfortunate because nobody wins in a shutdown.
I mean, I don't want to be too extreme in this, but I think they want to cut back on ICE. They want to defund ICE. They're the party of the open borders. We've seen this in the Biden years. I mean, Trump has reversed this. You all have reversed this in the Senate and the House. But the fact of the matter is, Democrats will be Democrats. They wouldn't stand up and applaud when Mr. Trump talked about safety and the most important thing, protecting America. I mean, can this be beaten? Can this be beaten with, I don't know, some kind of talking filibuster? Can this be beaten by some kind of skinny reconciliation bill? What's out there that can stop the logjam and preserve ICE? I want to get to sanctuary cities in a second, but preserve ICE and preserve DHS. And, you've got FEMA is I would think Democrats in blue states, the whole Northeast is blue, Senator, most of it. And it's the worst storms we've seen in I don't know how many years. And FEMA's not funded. I mean, how goofy and stupid is that?
It's pretty goofy and stupid. I would agree. I think they want to make this all about ICE, but it's so much more than that. It is. It's FEMA, it's TSA, it's the Coast Guard, it's cybersecurity. There are a lot of important functions and agencies of government that are funded in that appropriations bill. And the Democrats are, making it impossible to pass. So we're exploring all the options. We're looking at a recon 2.0. Obviously we're having conversations about a potential talking filibuster. That's challenging because you have to have 50 to stay together to table every single amendment, or this could be an amendment tree with a lot of really bad votes, and perhaps some that would end up passing that would really be to the detriment of the bill and probably sink it. So it's, you want to be strategic and smart about this, but there are some things that we're talking about here, which I mentioned, should be bipartisan. The housing bill should be bipartisan, permitting reform, AI, those are a whole range of things, a highway bill, a farm bill. There are a lot of things out there, Larry, that we could be working on together if the Democrats weren't afflicted with such a case of Trump derangement syndrome that they are blinded and unable to function in a way that even delivers on the very basic functions of the American government for the American people.
Two last ones, Senator, and you've been generous with your time. One is the issue of defunding or ending sanctuary cities. Lindsey Graham, President Trump, a lot of Republicans, perhaps yourself, want to get rid of sanctuary cities, which really, I think, are the source of so much of the shootings in these blue state areas. And the other one, of course, is the voting bill, the Save America Act now. The new one passed the House. It's come back to the Senate, photo IDs, proof of citizenship, and so forth. What can you tell us about those two?
Well, I think those are both issues that we need to vote on, and we will vote on the Save America Act in one way, form, or another. And if the Democrats block it, I think it's a great contrast to draw going into these fall elections. Do you want to be the people who are voting against actually requiring people to be American citizens to vote in American elections? I think that's a fairly straightforward issue. But if the Democrats want to, stand in the way of that, then we're obviously happy to litigate that in the fall elections. I think sanctuary cities is a similar issue. These cities that have put up obstacles to doing even the basic things. And when you have federal law enforcement officials that are operating there, that are trying to clean up their streets, trying to make their communities safer, and you have elected officials in these communities who are blocking that and making it more difficult and creating conflict and putting at risk the law enforcement officials that are in there trying to do their jobs. These things, you just can't, you can't make this stuff up. Those are, in my view, impossible positions to defend. And I, like I said, I think we'll do everything we can to make sure that the American people understand who is for safer streets, safer communities, and who is for, you know, ensuring that only Americans vote in American elections, and who is for lowering your taxes and giving you more money in your pocket. And all those issues are opportunities to contrast with what I saw last night on the floor of the Senate, or the floor of the House, I should say, being there. And that really is the two Americas.
Yes, sir.
And the Democrat Party that is defending all this stuff, and a president who is trying to move this country forward and make it safer and stronger and more prosperous.
Yes, sir. Senate Majority Leader, Mr. John Thune. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it very, very much.
Good to be with you. Thanks, Larry. See you.
All right. Good luck.